Okay, so I really need a haircut. I'm starting to get that George Jefferson thing going on. What's up, YouTube? I am here with another Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Revelation unboxing. And this is Skelegod. Fool! You are no longer my equal. I am more than man, more than life. I am, God! So yeah, this is Skelegod, obviously, from Master of the Universe Revelation. This is once he gets a hold of the sword, and then Evil Lyn, like, seduces him with that magic booty, and he's not Skelegod for very long, unfortunately. Because I actually thought this was a really cool design, and I've been looking forward to having a figure of this for a while. Man, that screen is shiny on that. Look at that. I'm going to try to fix that. Hang on a second. If I can find a way maybe to cover up the screen. Does that help? Is that helpful? Maybe we still got like a little bit of a sliver on there. But I think I mostly covered up the screen. Just had this Chipotle bag. I think that helps out a little bit. The problem is now I can't see the screen, so I can't see how well it's helping. It's helping out a little bit. You can still see a little bit at the top. I need to figure out a way to make it so the screen doesn't reflect on the stuff that I'm trying to show. Anyway, so I've been meaning to get this for a while, but it is one of the more expensive figures in the line since it's a big deluxe one. So I've been kind of putting it off a little bit, and then I saw it was on sale for at Target for $12 off, and I couldn't resist that. So I had to finally pull the trigger on Skelegod. And like I said, I wanted to for a while, because it's a cool looking figure. So let's go ahead and open it up. Now, a lot of the times, whenever I do one of these Masterverse reviews, the Revelations ones, I'll get somebody in the comments talking about how they hated the show. Because a lot of people hated this show. A lot of people liked it, but a lot of people hated it. So, this one time, I saw a guy who said, hey, I got caught up in the hate, and I gave it another look, and I wound up actually liking it. So, shout out to him. I like it when, somebody has enough, so I like it when somebody can actually, like, have enough self-awareness to revise their opinion. It's okay to change your mind about stuff, guys. I mean, you don't want to be wishy-washy, and you don't want to be flip-flopping all the time, but it's okay to go back and look at an opinion that you previously held and be like, you know what, maybe I was a little too harsh, or maybe I wasn't harsh enough. So anyway, there's a Skelegod. We got the figure out of the package there. There is, wow, there's some interesting stuff going on. But you know what I forgot to do? I forgot something. I forgot to look at the artwork on the package. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. And that's a pretty awesome picture of Skelegod. It looks like it's the same picture over here on this side. Over here it just says Skelegod. You know, Cosmic Lord of Destruction. He's cosmic now. And look at this. Okay, I want Hasbro to take note. Mattel has actually got a full bio on here to tell us all about this character. Not just one or two lines that they've translated into 15 different languages. Or, in the case of Classified, absolutely nothing about the character. So if Mattel can do it, why can't Hasbro? Just throwing it out there. And I'm not saying this to be like English is better than other languages. I don't care about that. But they can print out the packages in other languages. I've detailed how they can do this very easily before, and that's to do the way that Marvel Comics did their direct sales comics versus their newsstand comics in the 80s. But that's neither here nor there. Let's read this bio. Skeletor lives life with a singular purpose: to control the unlimited powers of the entire universe. Time after time, the Bane of Eternia was thwarted by He-Man and the Heroic Warriors. I like just calling He-Man and his Heroic Warriors the Heroic Warriors. I don't like their name being the Masters of the Universe, like a superhero team. They're not the Avengers. they're a loosely knit group of heroic warriors. That's the way I always see it. Like, He-Man doesn't have, like, like team meetings in the headquarters where they sit around a big round table and He-Man pounds a little gavel and asks for the minutes from the last meet. No, that's the Justice League will do that. The Avengers will do that. Like these guys just kind of roam around and have their own adventures, and they're friends with each other and they work together a lot of the times, but they're not like a team, But anyway, where was I? What kind of monster would be unleashed should they be unable to stop the Lord of Destruction? Surely a raging storm of horror and terror, even the bravest dare not imagine. Wow, that's pretty dramatic for an action figure package, isn't it? Anyway, let's go ahead and start taking some of these accessories out. And first of all, we have the Sword of Power, which I believe this is identical to the one that came with He-Man. So they didn't make it purple or anything like that, but then again, when he had the sword on the show, it looked just like when he held it. I kind of have the idea, you can see mine's a little warped. I'm going to have to hit it with a hairdryer or dip it in some boiling water to straighten it out. I kind of subscribe to the idea that whoever's holding the sword, it kind of absorbs some of their essence. And that's why the original toy Skeletor, the power sword he came with, was purple. So if I was doing the show, what I would have done is this sword would have turned purple when Skeletor got a hold of it. And we got this cool energy blast thing. And even though I was talking about other stuff while I was taking those out, we got these big old hands that are gripping hands, so he can hold the sword in this massive mitt. Okay, and then we've got the dreaded, my absolute most hated of ways to keep an action figure in the package. Little plastic tabs. Oh, I hate them so much. Ugh. Like, all I want to do is take my action figure out of the package, and all you're doing is stopping me. I talked a little bit of smack about Hasbro earlier, and I'm going to pay them some praise right now. I don't remember the last time I had a Hasbro action figure that had these stupid plastic tabs, or stupid rubber bands, or stupid twist ties, or stupid paper strings. I don't know, whatever you call those things. I don't remember the last time I had a Hasbro figure where one of those was being held in its plastic prison by those damnable things. So Mattel, you can learn a little bit from Hasbro, too. Like, there's no need for this. All this is doing is making this a more frustrating experience for me. And opening action figures is something I should love to do, because I love action figures. And I missed one of them. Okay, well, that's done. Alright, so now we have Skelegod freed from his plastic prison, and already out of the package, he's already posed in like a really cool way. And he's very articulated. He's got apparently the standard articulation that Masters of the Universe, Masterverse figures have had so far. It's got a ball joint in the middle of the torso. This joint seems to be kind of stiff. No, I think it's just facing the wrong way. I think they might have that joint on there upside down. No? No, I think it's facing the right way. It's just a little stiff. I got it loosened up, though. So, there we go. He's got straps underneath his arms that I guess would hold the cape on. His cape fell off. Wow. So, this is how the cape is held on, apparently. There's like this little plastic thing in here. And I guess it's got little tabs that are supposed to hook it over the blue straps in the back. Wow, guys. Could you find a more awkward way to do this? I'm going to have to fix that later on, because that's not a good way to hold that cape on. That cape is going to fall off constantly. Especially because, like, check this out. There's some interesting things going on with this cape. So there's fabric that's got print on it. And you can see that there's, like, light purple trim around the darker purple. And then there's a third color purple here. So there's 3 colors of purple to this cape. No, wait. I think that's just a lighting thing. I think that might actually be this. Is it different? Hold on, I'm going to turn on my lamp. Yeah, it's just ever so slightly different, I think. So, so you've got a light purple, a darker purple, and then a medium purple. Is that even going to stay on? I'll have to figure out some other way to attach this cape on here, because I have no faith in that cape being held on the way it is. But look at this. There's actually, like, some gems that are kind of glued onto the cape. That is cool. I like that. And it's double-sided. They did not need to make that double-sided like that. That was some extra effort. I appreciate that. So that's really cool. He's got these gigantic shoulder pads. These huge pauldrons. And, like, those look kind of vaguely like a face. You see that? Like it could be like an animal, like a rhino or something like that. And, or like a horse with, like, a fancy helmet. And Skelegod, his actual head has a helmet on it with huge ram horns that bring to mind the Havoc staff. The H on his chest, which seems to me like it's supposed to be kind of like a bizarro mockery of the H that's on He-Man's chest in this series. It's all ragged and it's sculpted into the figure, but it's not sculpted into the figure in a way that I would expect this to be sculpted into the figure. Like, I was kind of thinking of this as being something that was actually carved into his chest, and you can see the power of it seeping out, but it's actually, like, done in layers over the chest. So I think they kind of did it the reverse of the way that they should have done it. So it just looks kind of like, to me, like it's just an emblem on his chest, which I would have had it be more like a big gaping hole in his chest. This big gaping S-H-shaped hole in his chest where you can see the power just oozing out. And then he's got, like, again, the belt is kind of that kind of vaguely animal head sort of shape to it. Or I guess it could be like a demon head or something with, like, the 2 horns this time. And then armor at the sides of his hips. Furry loincloth. I probably would have, this is just me, like just kind of analyzing the design of the character in general. This isn't a criticism of the figure, because obviously this is accurate to the original design. But rather than a furry loincloth, I think I would have gone more with, like, the sort of, like, I don't know what you call it, but that Roman type of loincloth that Skeletor normally has with, like, the straps hanging down. He's got some darker blue straps on his thighs and also up at his upper arms. Those match the harness that I was talking about, that the cape strap. You can see the cape attaches to that and it goes underneath his arms. So that's all the same colored blue. There's a lot going on this figure. And I can see why, like, even if we're not considering size a factor, and I don't think we should consider size a factor, because Beastman is also a huge figure, and he's standard retail price. But even if we just put that aside, there is a lot of paint detail and sculpting detail and the gems that are attached to the cape, and there's, like I said, like, there's 3 different layers of cloth to this cape, 3 different shades of purple, one of these layers actually has both shades of purple on it. It's astounding to me, the level of detail that they put into this figure. This was a labor of love, and it took a lot of effort, and Mattel, like, even if I got some criticisms, like, I don't understand why you chose to attach the cape the way you did, and I don't think, like, if a kid was playing with it, I don't think this would hold up to it. I'm going to have to find a better way to attach this cape. But even with all those criticisms, this figure is an extraordinary achievement, and you should be very proud of it. This is a fantastic action figure. And I know some of you out there, like I said, you hate the Revelation show, and you don't want anything to do with it. Well, you know, if that's your only reason for passing up on this figure, you're missing out on a great figure. I don't know what else to tell you. Like I've said before, I had my problems with the Revelation show. You know, there were certain aspects of it that, like, didn't fly with me, and it certainly isn't my kind of definitive take on Masters of the Universe. It doesn't really fit into my universe as I see it. But if I put that aside, I still found it to be like a very enjoyable show, and I liked seeing the characters treated with like kind of a maturity, if that makes any sense. That was cool to see. So you could tell they were trying to give those characters like some depth and make them a little bit more than just kind of toy characters that people seem to perceive them as. I'm one of those people that thinks that the Filmation show actually had a lot more depth to it than it gets credit for. But Master Universe Revelations tried to take that to the next level. And whether or not you feel like they succeeded, I do feel like that they deserve some props for that. So, and I liked Skelegod. I thought that was a pretty cool concept. Like I said, my one complaint about it is I wish it had lasted longer. One other thing I like about it is I definitely subscribe to the 2000X idea that Skeletor's head is not actually attached to the body by like a neck or anything like that. There's no neck, there's no neck bones, there's nothing there. It's just like a big empty space in between his head and the torso. He's a magical creature. He doesn't need to have a neck, like literally. So, but they came up with an interesting solution for that as far as making it into a figure. And I know that, yeah, this was how it was on the show, but I kind of wonder if they did this on the show so that they could give Mattel a way to attach his head to the body without giving him a neck. So we got like all this clear green plastic here that's supposed to represent the power, just kind of, like I said, how I kind of considered like the green on his chest to be the power seeping out of his chest. Here we have the power seeping out of the hole where his neck would be if he had a neck, instead of just like a mystic void of nothingness. So that's really cool. Now you can see like where it actually attaches to the body. There's like a hard, opaque plastic there where they just, it would have been the same plastic from the dark blue of the body, but they just painted it green. But I kind of feel like that it all kind of blends together, and actually with the clear green, it almost looks kind of like the brightest spot in the middle of it. So I think that's really cool. And we still got some more stuff to talk about with this figure. I've been going on for like 17 minutes now, and there's still some more stuff to discuss. So we're going to pull out this hand. By the way, I don't know if anybody's really talked about this a whole lot. I haven't seen anybody talk about this. I'm sure somebody has, and I just haven't seen it. But his hands, that's the terror claws. So that's pretty cool, is that he's got the terror claws. So let's pull that out. I wonder if, yeah, so the whole gauntlet comes off. And it looks like his forearm isn't much bigger than like a regular forearm from this figure. So I kind of wonder if you could take these hands and these gauntlets and put them onto the regular Skeletor figure and give him terror claws. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and plug this gripping hand into the wrist. And these are, like I said, surprisingly tiny pegs for these gigantic hands, but I think that's because they wanted them to be interchangeable with the other characters. I think I got it in good. Alright, so now we can go ahead and have him hold his sword. Have him hold He-Man's sword, if you want to put it that way, but it's his sword now. At least until Evelyn steals it. By the way, I really liked the design of Evelyn once she gets the power of Grayskull. I've heard her referred to as Godlyn, but I prefer to call her Hevelyn, because she's a He-Man Evelyn. But whatever. It's so yeah, the sword looks almost like a tiny little toothpick in his massive mitt. It's a little too small for him. But again, that's how, if they'd done the thing I was talking about, where I kind of feel like the sword should, you know, kind of alter itself to fit whoever's holding it, it could become like a larger, more massive purple sword, and that would have been really cool. But again, that's just me kind of, you know, you can kind of stick this on here, but I don't think it's really made to go on here. You can see it kind of rattling around. I didn't see any instructions as to how that power blast works, but I suspect what you're supposed to do. Will it fit on the open hand? It'll fit on the open hand. So that is supposed to be like a spell that he's casting, like he's about to shoot like a magic bolt. So I kind of figured the best way for me to display him would be to have the sword in one hand and the magic bolt on the other one, and he's just lording over Castle Grayskull, because he is now the the one true master of the universe, at least until he can be overthrown, because nothing lasts forever. So Skeletor will eventually be, of course, overthrown by Evelyn and her magic booty. So, can you blame him? I can't blame him. So, Skelegod, great action figure. This is fantastic. Like, I know a lot of you that are more traditionalist, even if you liked the show, you probably have avoided this figure because he's not the traditional Skeletor and you don't like newfangled things. Well, let me tell you something. I'm an old school guy. I love old school. Like, you know that my favorite Batman is the blue and gray Batman. Like, that's the kind of old school I am. So, when I tell you that I love this figure, and I think this is probably one of the best Skeletor figures I've had, like, you don't take that lightly. Like to me, the best Skeletor action figure that I own is the Super 7 Ultimate Skeletor, where he's got like the more toy accurate arms and feet, and I can put that Alcala style head on him, the mini comic style head, and I can give him the whole mini comic style power sword in one hand and the Havoc staff in the other, and I can even put a cape on him if I want to. And to me, that is like a perfectly definitive Skeletor. That's exactly what Skeletor should be. But this is also a fantastic Skeletor figure. And it takes this design in general from the show, but also the figure itself, it takes a lot of chances as far as what our interpretation of Skeletor should be. But I think it nails it. It's also kind of like the end of the Masters of the Universe movie, which I made reference to earlier, and how Skeletor gets the power of Grayskull in that. And that he becomes kind of like this tacky gold disco Skeletor. And I like that in the context of the movie, but this to me feels a little more authentic as to what Skeletor is and probably should be. Now, that having been said, I do have, some criticisms, some complaints, some things I would have done differently. Not necessarily criticisms, but just things I would have done differently. And I'm probably going to wind up using my 3D printer to give him a bigger purple sword, because I think that would look really badass with him. And to me, one of the great things about Masters of the Universe in general as a franchise is what the late, great Mark Taylor said, which is that when they were talking to him about like things they did on the Filmation stuff, and he wasn't too crazy about a lot of the stuff, because he had like very specific ideas about, like, say, He-Man and his relationship to magic and things like that. And he said, it's not as I intended it, it's not as I viewed it, but that's okay. They have their version and I have mine, and every kid that plays with a He-Man action figure has their own version of He-Man. And I know, like, my version of He-Man is a lot different from what you saw in Filmation. And it's a lot different from what we saw in Masters of the Universe Revelations. It's different from the live-action movie. It's different from the 2000X show. It's different from my beloved mini-comics, which is my favorite media still of He-Man, is those early mini-comics, like before the Prince Adam era. That's what defined the character for me. But even then, I wound up taking my universe in different directions. And yeah, I'd borrow some bits here and there from Filmation, or the live-action movie, or 2000X, or Revelation, and I've built, like, a much bigger, broader, like, massive universe with lots of, like, pathos and wonder and everything like that. It's like this big thing that exists only in my head, and I can talk to you about it, and I can tell you things about it, and, you can understand it in that way, but you'll never really know it the way that I know it. And to me, that's kind of what Masters of the Universe should be, is you should have that kind of view of Eternia too. The same way that I do. You should have your own take on it. Like, you can be as hardcore into, like, the Filmation series as you want, and take as much from it as you want, but at the end of the day, you should still be, I feel like, bringing more to it, just out of yourself. And, I think that's one of the things that I actually liked about Revelation, is even with the stuff that I disagreed with, I could tell that they were trying to push it in new and interesting directions. And at the end of the day, I liked that. Is it part of my canon? No, not really. Although there would be some parts that I would bring into it because I did enjoy them. But man, the action figures have been great, and all the ones I've bought, I've really enjoyed. There have been a few, like I haven't gotten around to getting Evil Lyn. I might get that Evil Lyn later. I'm not gonna buy that Tila because, like I said, I don't like that Tila design, but it makes sense in the context of the story. So I don't mind it in the story, but I don't really want an action figure of it. I don't really care. Uh, I had said before how I wasn't intending on buying Andra, because even though I liked that character, I kind of felt like her design was a little too Star Wars and less Masters of the Universe. But the more I think about it, the more I think, you know what, maybe I could customize her into like my version of Andra and make her something like that would fit more into the aesthetic of Eternia as I see it. Uh, Skelegod is awesome, and you should definitely buy Skelegod. And even if you think you might not like it at first, go ahead, buy it, take it out of the package, feel it in your hand, look it over. You're going to fall in love with this figure. I guarantee you this. And if you don't, just put it back in the package and take it back to the store and say, like, you know, my mom bought this for me for my birthday, and it turns out I don't need this one. So just say something like that. It doesn't really matter. So they'll put it back on the shelf, and then somebody will buy it. It'll be fine. God knows they put enough action figures back on the shelf that are in like completely the wrong package, where some jerk decided he was just gonna like pull a fast one on the toy store or whatever. Anyway, I've been rambling about this and other subjects for about 30 minutes now. It's like almost 27 minutes by my count. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Tell me what you think about Skelegod and Masters of the Universe Revelation. Tell me how much you hated Masters of the Universe Revelation, because people love to do that in videos where I talk about these figures. I love reading it, though. I like seeing people's reactions and things like that. I like seeing comments. Even if I don't agree with you, I'm probably still going to like give you a like just because you commented on my video, and I like that. So everybody's welcome on my page, even if you disagree with me. Even if you make fun of my hair for, you know, I haven't shaved my head like weeks ago, and I'm looking like George Jefferson now. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.